Hello, my name is Ari Waldman. I'm a person who stutters. This is my video YouTube of Tanya, part 2. I'm sorry I cut off Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, the 23rd of the Jewish month of Kislev. Klipa means a shell or peel. God created forces which conceal the godly life force found in all creation. As a peel covers and conceals a fruit, Sitra Achara means the other side, the side of creation that is the antithesis of holiness and purity. The two terms are generally synonymous. Vihi hamitlabeshet bedam ha'adam lahachayot guf. It is nefesh, which originates in the klipa, and sitra achara, that is clothed in the blood of a human being, giving life to the body. U'chtiv ki nefesh habasar badam hi, as it is written, for the nefesh of the flesh, i.e. the nefesh that sustains physical and corporal life, is in the blood. Umimena ba'ot kol amidot, ra'ot me'arba yisodot ra'im sheba. From the nefesh stems all the evil characteristics deriving from the 4 evil elements within it. Just as the 4 physical elements of fire, air, water, and earth are the foundation of all physical entities, so too is this nefesh comprised of 4 corresponding spiritual elements. Since they derive from klipa and evil, they themselves are evil, and from them in turn one's evil characteristics come into being. Tahainu ki'im ka'am ka'as v'ga'ava misod ha'esh shenigba lamala, namely anger and pride emanate from the element of fire, which rises upward. Once ignited by anger and pride, a man like fire soars aloft. Pride is the state of considering oneself superior to others. Anger, too, is an offshoot of pride. Would a person not be proud, he would not be angered. When someone defiled his will, Ta'avat hatanugim misod, hamayim ki hamayim matzmichim, kol mine ta'anug. The appetite for pleasures emanates from the element of water, for water promotes the growth of all kinds of pleasurable things. The ability of water to make pleasurable things grow indicates that concealed within it is the element of pleasure. Thus, the appetite for pleasure derives from the element of water. V'holalut v'leitznut v'hit pa'arut udvarim betelim misod haruach. Frivolity and scoffing, boasting and idle talk emanate from the element of air. Like air, they lack substance. Ve'atzlut, ve'atzvut, misod ha'afar. And sloth and melancholy emanate from the element of fire, of earth. Earth is characterized by heaviness. A man encumbered by sloth and melancholy likewise sense a heaviness of the limbs. V'gam midot tovot shebeteva kol Yisrael betoldotam kamo rachamanut ugmilut chasadim be'ot mimena. From the stems also the good traits inherent in every Jew, Jews' character, such as compassion and benevolence. But since this is a nefesh of kalipa and evil How do good characteristics come from it? This matter is now addressed. Ki Yisrael nefesh, zo de klipa, hi miklipat noga, sheyesh ba gam kein tov. For in the case of the Jew, this soul of klipa is derived from the klipa called noga, which also contains good. And the good within the nefesh gives rise to these positive natural traits. Vihi misod, eitz hada'at tovara. This klipa is from the esoteric tree of knowledge, which is comprised of good and evil. Ma she'ein kein nafshot umot, ha'olam hein mishar, klipot meot, she'ein bahen tov klal. The souls of the nations of the world, however, emanate from the other, unclean klipot, which contain no good whatsoever. Kemoshe katuv be'etz chayim, sha'ar memtet, perek gimel, v'chol tivu de abdin, ha'umot, lig gar mayu abdin. As is written in Eitz Chaim, Portal 49, Chapter 3, that all the good that the nations do is done out of selfish motives, since their nefesh emanates from klipot, which contain no good. It follows that any good done by them is for selfish motives. V'chid ita b'Gemara al pasuk v'chesed le'umim chatat shekol tzedaka v'chesed she'umot ha'olam oshin einan ela lihit yaher kuli. So the Gemara comments on the verse, the kindness of the nations is sin, that all the charity and kindness done by the nations of the world is only for the self-glorification. When a Jew acts in a benevolent manner, he is motivated mainly out of concern for the welfare of his fellow. The proof of this is that were his fellow not to need his help, this would give him greater pleasure than the gratification derived from his act of kindness. Concerning the nations of the world, however, this is not so. Their motivation is not the welfare of their fellow, rather it stems from a self-serving motive. Desire for self-glorification, a feeling of gratification, and the like. It should be noted that among the nations of the world, there are also to be found those whose souls are derived from Klipa Noga, called the pious ones of the nations of the world. These righteous individuals are benevolent, not out of selfish motives, but out of genuine concern for their fellow. This is the end of my video, Tanya, Day 31, Part 2.